it was a matrix of its own that I created for myself. There was a box, a certain way of doing things, which on one hand you say, yay, systems. On the other
Yeah.
hand, your spirit is calling for something more to not be put in that box. Very hard to break out of your own creation.
Welcome to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast, where world changing spiritual entrepreneurs come to deeply awaken the power within to bring forth their greatest purpose, while enjoying being in tune with all life and real wealth in all aspects of their lives. I'm your host, Daniel John Hanneman. And welcome everybody to the Spiritual Rockstar Podcast Show. We've got another amazing guest. Oh my God, I've been knowing Jon Block for the longest time, and I just attended his amazing Red Pill event. I'll let him talk about it more. We'll be talking about it, discussing it. It is one of the best retreats you could ever attend. Absolutely was blown away. Just the energy, the connection. There's a connection. There's a connection because people are hungry for connection right now. And Jon gets it. He's bringing people together to connect, to empower each other, to raise people up in wealth and health and everything, and to break through that old matrix energy, completely obliterate that stuff, and allow ourselves to create the world that's emerging. So thank you, Jon, for being on today.
Oh, thank you so much, Dan. I loved having you at our last Red Pill experience. And what you do is so valuable here, providing this platform for us to connect with one another. And I can't wait to see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. So let me tell you about Jon. Now, since 2011, Jon has presented on 500 plus stages and mentored over 1,500 entrepreneurs on how to use public speaking, live events, and real estate investments to dramatically grow their business and social impact. He has been hired to train public speaking at HBO and Google and has produced over 100 festivals, conferences, and seminars along with his beloved partner who I had a chance to hang out with as well, Dr. Mansi Shah. Jon is the co-founder of Abundant Tribe Leader, an elite membership for experts in alternative health and wealth. Their signature 4-day retreat Red Pill Experience RPXP is amazing. It's absolutely off the charts amazing. I just can't say enough about it. As my participants as life-changing and the best event I've ever attended. I think I was one of those people that said that, one of the best events I've ever attended. So Jon, again, I'm so grateful for who you are, and you're a great leader because you've got that great heart, so people can really relax and be like, I can feel the love. And then you're very strong though too. You're like, all right, let's go. And you got that swagger too. So that it's in my and Dr. Matze is the same way. She's basically the same way as far as that goes. Like she's got that too. Like, oh, I feel so loved. All right, let's go.
Need both, don't you? Can't
Yeah.
have too much of one or the other.
Maybe I relate because I'm basically the same, so similar. Anyway, yes, I mean we're on the same page, the same wavelength. That man, we need to break through. I just think the minute people hear about that event, they hear red pill, like, isn't it like whatever X%, 30, 40, 50% at least? They're like, I'm in, like whatever that event is, I want to come to it. It's red pill.
One of the coolest things that have happened is that we're coming up on Red Pill Experience 3. And when we did the first one, there was definitely more like, what is this thing? Is this the men's rights movement? I was surprised. I didn't even know about the men's rights movements. And then if you Google it, oh, I see what they're talking about. It's like all over the internet. And I researched it, like, this is a backlash against feminism. It got nothing to do with us at all, because for us, it is about the Matrix. And now that we're coming up on RPXP 3 and we're talking with the people that are really the ones who get it, we go to these conferences for alternative health and biohacking, or we're going to alternative investment summits, and we say we do a retreat called Red Pill Experience. The response is, I'm going, I'm there.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Not when is it, not how much does it cost, I'm there. And that's exactly the type of people that I think anyone should be building their tribe around. Just like in any relationship, like a romantic partnership, you shouldn't have to try to convince people to be with you. They just feel this connection and let's go.
Yeah. I don't know if you're the one or not. Let me consider it. Let me think about it. Let me yeah. Eh, More times than not, anyway. If they're the one, you're immediately have a connection. You immediately want to take a next step, right? So I think that's great. Yeah, that definitely is ideal. When the minute you say what it is, people want in. You're onto something for sure.
Yeah, and it was a risk for us, and we decided to raise a flag. I when we met was doing world class speaker was the name of my program. My company was called Speaker Venture. I think we met even before that, so I was finding my way in the experts industry, and I was mentored to choose a niche and create a program name that people were really clear on what the promise was, and this is how you set up appointments and all the stuff that we're expected to do to have a practical running business. And I was able to grow to 200,000 a year doing this. Yet I found that it was a matrix of its own that I created for myself. There was a box, a certain way of doing things, which on one hand you say, yay, systems. On the other
Yeah.
hand, your spirit is calling for something more to not be put in that box. Very hard to break out of your own creation. And that's when I quit the industry after getting divorced and decided that if I were to come back, it's going to be doing something that not only have I not done before, but I haven't seen anyone else do before. And that's when Dr. Monty and I created RPXP.
Oh, wow. Wow, that's amazing. I mean, of course, for people, I mean, for the very few people that probably don't know, but all this comes out of your experience. Well, I'll let you tell about it, but it comes from a certain movie called The Matrix, right? So tell us about, how this concept even emerged that, we got this Matrix and, we need to take the red pill and everything. I know it comes from the movie, but tell me more. You told this story well, at your event. What you just sort of talked about it right now too. Like, yeah, I was sick of like there's like a matrix, right? This is how you do business. This is the way it works. This is a damn funnel. This is the only way it works best, or what? So what really put you to that tipping point to where you're like, that's it, something completely different needs to happen here?
I'll start by saying how I encountered the Matrix. I was a freshman in college at Emory University. I was there as a business major. And then the Matrix came out in March of 1999. I went and saw it in theaters. And I've always felt this kinship with Keanu Reeves. I've been told I have some resemblance to Keanu Reeves. And in any case, there he is, the beginning in his cubicle, and I just got this immediate like Christmas Carol like glimpse into my future. Like this is what my life is gonna be like. And then he meets Morpheus, and he's presented with the option of you take the blue pill, you go back to sleep, and you never question the reality of around you. You just go along with this prescribed life that society has handed to you. You take the red pill, then you quote, see how deep the rabbit hole goes. You awaken to all the possibilities. You choose, of course, chooses the red pill, or else there's no movie, and then bursts through the matrix, and then liberates others. And for me, it was a decision to leave being a business major to pursue film school because this movie impacted me so much. I wanted to create my own movies that I would use the term now raise consciousness on the planet. After graduating from USC Film School, I discovered that there was another matrix that you walk into, and this is something that is really a dominant theme: is identifying what are the different matrices, specifically the ones that you might be trapped in at any given time. This one was the studio system, the entertainment industry, and how getting my projects going, right, was just not happening. And after pursuing that for 5 years, just decided to produce events because at least I had the freedom. This is why I believe in entrepreneurship: is that there's that freedom. America is a beautiful country to be an entrepreneur where you can make something happen, and that's why I got into producing the music and arts events. Now, if we flash forward to 2020, this came back around in a big way during the pandemic, and I was struck how people were just going along with these systems of control. So we define a matrix as a system of control, and specifically in our case, that stops people from having the greatest health and wealth. We really key in on health and wealth as areas that matter most, and where the system is really clamped down, and there's like interlocking matrices to make sure that people stay sick or struggling when it comes to their health and wealth. And I saw this firsthand with obviously the pandemic and businesses getting shut down and the social distancing and the masking up, which had an incalculable toll on our mental health, which has been the too often neglected aspect of health that we really stand for, being in many ways foundational for the rest of your health, along with physical health. So when Monty and I met each other, and I'll share briefly, had her big pharma background. She came from India and had a degree and a doctor of pharmacy, and did the thing that she was expected to do coming from her culture, and got a great placement job of opening up CVS stores because she was a go-getter. So the CVS pharmacies she was responsible for running. And then her system just broke down. This was a couple years before we met. And she could not get out of bed, had bleeding ulcers. Just the workload, the misalignment with her purpose. She and I are very similar in this way, where if we're not aligned and doing work with our purpose, our body reacts to it. We'll have a physical reaction. We just cannot show up for something, cannot show up in a relationship that's not the right one for us. It's an all or nothing type thing. She was able to heal herself through natural medicine and gut health, and also got into alternative investments because she was able to parlay some of her salary into these passive income vehicles, hence her passion for thinking outside the box on the wealth side as well. So we got together. It was a dynamic exchange. We a 4 hour long first date, all about the matrix and different matrices, and then decided to come together with this clear mission to awaken and unify humanity, to liberate humanity from the grip of big pharma and the Wall Street cartel, and that we were going to be uncompromising around it. Like, this is who we are, world. Join us. We love you. If not, that's fine.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, ready or not, here we come. We as I flying in like Keanu Reeves at the end of the movie of Matrix. Anyway, and most people have seen it. I don't think I've given anything away. Like flies away at that scene, right? It's like, we're here we come. You know. So yeah, there's so many lines of that movie that are just grooved in my brain because I've watched it so many times. I mean, because I don't know if I've told you this before, Jon, but for whatever reason, because I think of what it represents, it is my favorite movie of all time because of what it represents as much as anything. So I've seen it like, I don't know, 10 to 20 times or whatever. I don't know how many times anymore. So I just, it just so spoke to me from the very first time I watched it. And I even presented it at one of my own events. Like we took a whole day to break it all down. I'm like, okay, this is what's being shown here. This is what that's about. This is what this is about. How does this apply to you? How can you, claim and how you're unstoppable and all that stuff. And there's just so much stuff in there that can help you to break free of this, all the thought forms. That's what imprisons us, right? So that's to me what the Matrix is. So when we talk about what is the Matrix, what's your answer to that?
We mentioned earlier, system of control that stops people from having the greatest health and wealth. So I've given presentations on this, like specifically deep dives into the matrix. I mean, across the 4 days, we do a lot of other stuff too, in terms of leadership training to be disruptors, liberating humanity from the matrix. But in terms of what the matrix is, there are various systems of control that stop people from having the greatest health, wealth, and sovereignty. Religion is one, government, corporations, education, media. These are some examples where those who are in the structure, or to some degree, we're all impacted by these structures, have had some loss of health, wealth, and sovereignty. And we use sovereignty as a word adjacent to freedom. To me, it's more of a regal quality of just like claiming our own uniqueness. And it's something that we really stand by as a value. Now, one thing that, as I was sharing with you, those of us who are old enough to remember when the Matrix came out knew what a phenomenon it was. And I was delivering a talk actually on this. And the question I brought up was, what if in some alternate universe, after the Matrix came out, that it launched these matrix study groups, much as you would have Bible study groups for Christianity, where you had matrix study groups where people would meet once a week all over the world and be looking at the different matrices that are impacting their life. And in many ways, this is saluting the American spirit from the founding fathers, were caught in a matrix called British rule over the colonies and decided they were going to bust out that particular matrix. The ultimate red pill revolutionary, whom we credit and cite as inspiration, is Martin Luther King. There was a matrix called segregation in the US. And he, as a red pill revolutionary, red pilled the entire country. What qualities did he have as a leader to stand for something and to do it from love and acceptance and unifying around I have a dream? A lot of stuff from actually from the 60s that this previous generation gave their lives for, that they really stood up against an unjust war in Vietnam. So much of that is missing now, and where if you were to question government, then you're somehow a threat to society. And I don't
Yeah.
think that I have to go into detail about why that's troubling to
Right.
be living under those conditions. So it's important to not so much be an anarchist. Now, there's something that some people who speak about this red pill concept, there is this kind of like anarchy undertone and like FU government. That's not what this is. This is really about being a critical thinker, about choosing a path that aligns with your most authentic self and the lifestyle you want to create, not accepting what's been handed to you. And whomever you encounter, meeting them with an open heart.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it comes with, yeah, again, like I started this show with, I think this is perfect. Like it comes with like, yeah, infinite love for everything and all, all that stuff, all the spiritual connection, everything. But it's also, it reminds me of Keanu Reeves, giving the agents a finger in the movie. Like yeah, like, I, how about you give me my call? And he gives him a finger and all that stuff. It's like there's got to be some defiance in there too, with all the love and all that. There's got to be that fire, that piercing energy as well. Both are welcome. Both are needed. Both are needed right now. I mean, it's so interesting. I didn't really realize, but like I've got a program right now for a year. It's called Lead the Way Like Jesus and Prosper Your Business. So I'm like, wow, the alignment with what you guys are talking about. And really, I mean, when I think about Jesus, for example, I feel like, yeah, he was somebody red pilled a lot of people too during his time, and so I really look at him as a great example of that love, but yet like, my father's brought me. I was here in the beginning, I'm here at the end, I'm here in between, or whatever. I'm just making up my own thing, but like more or less, you're saying things like that with swagger and confidence and no BS and. When people would question him, well, what about Abraham? What about Isaac? What about this? What about that? Well, boom, just lay it out. And we need some of that swagger because, yeah, otherwise we could just, all the narratives out there and everything, you get so caught up in all the nonsense. And it's just a matter of knowing your truth, getting your strength, and coming from that awakened space of really knowing something deeper that's true inside you. Like, I'll just share this real briefly is, I just remember like years ago, like 8 years ago or something, I went to a retreat and I remember driving in my car and like out of nowhere, I was listening to music, maybe it was part of it, and something that was coming through the music or something. I'm like, F this, collective plastic way of being that's being presented. Yes to the individual, that I like, because you have your individual ultimately connection with source and what you know to be the truth, rather than all these programs of like coming to the collective, this is what will be well, and like, yeah, screw that. Like I know something else to be true, and that's what I'll be talking about. That's what I'm going to be standing for, rather than just going into these mind viruses. Anyway, so thanks for the moment for the rant on that, Jon. But it's like, yeah, I mean, this is why I love what you guys are doing so much, because it helps people like us, me in the audience, to help us have a space where we can come together and join forces energetically as much as anything else, on top of all the other amazing things, of course, but we able to come together and support each other to be part of the shift, the awakening, or whatever you want to call it, right?
Yeah, and being in the coaching industry, I think you and I can both recognize that there is a particular matrix that represents, and part of it is not really standing for any global shift on the planet. That's always bothered me. For the most part, it's about get as many clients as possible. This is one of the pillars there. And I find that to be really misaligned, given the fact that I see speakers, coaches, healers as the Jedi of the galaxy, right? To use a Star Wars context there. So with the
Mhm.
Jedi, there's this sense of vibrating at a level higher than greed and ego and getting more stuff. It's a place of service and trusting that the universe will provide for you and getting them all of that for others. So that was really important to us with RPXP. And since we have the privilege of training other leaders and how they can become abundant tribe leaders, I mean, RPXP is the lead into our company, Abundant Tribe Leader, then what does it mean in today's economy to be an abundant tribe leader? As we see it, it's important to be abundant because you can't just be stressed and trying to get by. We all know when we're stressed, we're not the most resourced, we're snappier, we're more nearsighted, we're in survival mode. So I do believe in that Wallace D. Waddle science of getting rich, that it is a moral responsibility to become rich. Your capacity to show up for humanity is simply bigger. It's taking care of your health. Yes, this is a dimension of health, is your financial health.
Mhm.
And another aspect of this is having a personal economy. Not a lot of people talk about this, but nowadays, your personal brand, this is where social media, nothing is black and white. So some people say, oh, social media, social dilemma. I saw that. I just canceled all my accounts and all that. I'm like, okay. Does that really further the bigger vision, though, of what you see possible for humanity and your desire to connect and serve? We do live in an age of a personal brand having a personal economy. And what's so cool about it is that you're no longer like limited to an occupation. Say, I'm a lawyer, I'm a plumber, I'm a realtor. It's about the personal relationship. It's about people seeing you, knowing you, liking you, trusting you, coming to your multi-day retreat, and then having the experience of like you and all these different sides. And it's like, okay, I trust you. Now we can do business together. What do you have going on? And it's just a much faster, easier way of growing business, far more enjoyable because it's so relational. We don't draw much separation between our business relationships and our friendships. I mean, my friendships that are purely friendships are ones from high school because I know them since I was 14, and it's nice to have them to fall back on. But everyone subsequent to that is in the business realm. And when you're showing up authentically and you're on your mission, yeah, of course, these are the people that you want to hang out with. And then doing business is a natural extension of that. So, this is what it means to have a personal economy. And big part of this is being the epicenter of bringing people together, being a connector, having a love, a profound love for humanity. This is not for everyone. This is for leaders who of a certain ilk who recognize, like, yes, my own version of Martin Luther King Jr. That's what I'm here for.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Amen. Now with the event I went to, there was like I said, one of the number one things for me was just, well, there's a beautiful location. You guys are great with that. You make sure it's an amazing, beautiful place, and then it's a beautiful connection with each other. It's high quality produced events and everything. And even though, at that one, like, yeah, like any of most events, not everything goes perfect in terms of like this and that and the other thing, but it doesn't matter when there's a level of connection that's through the roof. It's like just part of the fun, like, oh, okay, that's delayed or whatever, whatever happened, the different things that might have happened, but like it's just all part of the fun, really, like, because people are in a sphere where they're engaged in, maybe some behaviors they're normally be engaged in, but they're you're with shakers and movers. So they're like rattling up everything. And you get to be a part of that. Like people are like, whatever, they're microdosing or whatever, like all these different things that they're doing, the way they're being, and people are just opening up. Like I'm there at 1 a.m. and I've got somebody like pouring out their heart and soul about what's been going on in their life. And Like, and I just feel like, of course, I'm supposed to be here for them right now, and just the
Life's
level of
happening.
support goes through the roof. Like, you just feel like, man, together, like, there's nothing that we can't accomplish. Is a kind of vibe, you get from the event. That's why, I mean, I would be at the very next one, but I happen to have another engagement. But like, I'm going to keep coming back because it's so connected, it's so potent. And then I haven't even mentioned the other huge thing is then you have all the powerhouse speakers and people that you bring in to share and to bring us in processes and that are incredible, so transformational and powerful. And then all the education around wealth and health and things that, you're like, oh, I've heard so many things. What else could I learn? Like, yeah, there's a lot more. These are innovators. These are people that are cutting edge people, are bringing cutting edge things to you, experiences, whether it's like shamanic like or this or that or the other thing, or something with wealth, like how to take care of your money and look at things differently, that you're not hearing at your average, seminar, your average YouTube video. I mean, it's pretty amazing. It really opens up the doors so you can see how unlimited the possibilities are for you, even within the seeming matrix that seems to be clamping down on you, right? Like, oh my God, there's all these options. There's so many possibilities to make more money, to be more financially secure and free. Therefore, I feel like I have more choice, like you said, to do my big mission more easily, more readily, right? So that's what I got from part of what I got from it.
No, I love hearing that. And one thing in entrepreneurship is the freedom that many of us enter it for is often elusive. We have less freedom as entrepreneurs oftentimes than we did as employees. You have the
Mm,
luxury of clocking out and not working on weekends usually when you're an employee, not so when you're an entrepreneur. And one thing that again has bothered me about this experts industry and this obsession with marketing and clients is the lack of discussion on investing. This fourth quadrant from Rich Dad Poor Dad of being investor. You watch the sharks on Shark Tank. That's who they are, is investors. So part of me feels that the experts industry is not a very mature form of entrepreneurship because it negates this aspect of investing by and large, right? It's
mhm.
something that people get so immersed. And I bring this up because I myself, multiple six-figure coach, one client at a time, next event at a time. Hope my offer goes well, right? No leverage assets, no time to go house hunting because, or even save, right? Because I'm pouring it back to the next event. This is a very big problem with certain people in the coaching industry. And
Mm,
to really maturely say, all right, I want to have my money work for me. This is something that Monsi feels really strongly about because in India, the culture is set up to be a lot more supportive of this, of having your money work for you. Her mom is a hard money lender, it's what she grew up with, and it's more woven in to the culture. And once you're there, then to get that, what does investing look like for me? Because once again, the mainstream, and this is a pretty accepted truth, if you look at the mainstream anything, it's like from fruits, right? What are the mainstream fruits?
mm,
Apple, banana, orange. Are those the best fruits on the planet? No. Right? Dragon fruit is amazing, right?
mm,
You
mm.
go on and on, right? Like mango is stronger than like an apple, right? In terms of enjoyability. And network television versus like HBO, right? The mainstream is usually not the best out there. It's just what's been like acceptable for the masses. It's incumbent upon us to say, all right, 401k is acceptable for the masses. And all likelihood, it's not the best thing out there. And this should not be a controversial stance at all to take. And one thing that we find really unacceptable is that the financial system is oftentimes set up to be so overwhelming and confusing that you got someone from one of these companies I shall not name saying that, oh, let the experts handle it. You just focus on your family and your job and we'll handle the investment side. No, they don't have your best interests, right?
Right,
They're in business, right? And part of
right,
the way that they do it, whether it's car mechanics or dentists at times, is by saying that you got all these problems and we can fix it for you. Just let us handle it. And the bill just shows up differently. So we're more likely to go along with it. But we
right.
do pay a big, big price for this. So we're really
Yeah.
big on investment education. and create new pathways for people to invest.
Yeah, I mean, just that one, there's so many pieces we could talk about. I mean, just the whole thing of questioning things when you feel things aren't right. Like a lot of people historically don't. Like, oh, you say I need a new engine on my car or whatever it is. Okay, whatever, drop in a new one, I guess. All right, whatever. Rather than questioning, like, no, is there another? Is there another way to handle this? Is there another way? I don't know. I don't think I need a new engine. I'm feeling, you know, I might not be the expert. I'm feeling like there's something else going on here. And I can't tell you how many experts I've gone to where I question them, like dentists I always use, like, well, you got cavities. We definitely need to fill these. And I'm like, okay, are you really sure? You mean I can't fix them on my own? You don't think that's possible? No, it's no way. And I go ahead and I do, you know, my own remedies. I go back and they're uh so I'm like, what happened? You say I have no cavities this time. I'm thinking to myself, I didn't call them out. I'm like, but the last time I went to a dentist, they all said I had definitely had cavities. They needed to be filled. They couldn't be fixed. Like these things happen again and again in my life where I question things, and I find like if I trust my own intuition more times than not, you know, almost every single time, like what I'm getting was true, right? I always tell people when I tune into them too, like you might argue with what I'm saying, but there's some truthful about what I'm saying here. You just don't realize it yet. And sometimes people get it right away, of course.
Yeah,
Most of
I mean, I have a big wish for humanity to use our time better.
hmm
So I'm going to say something that might offend people, and it wouldn't be the first time, right? So, how you use your Sundays can really make or break your success in life. If
hmm
you devote an entire Sunday to watching 3 games of football and drinking beer, consider the opportunity costs across a lifetime of that time that could have been spent empowering your financial education, really knowing how money works. There's a lot there. Talk about the more I find out, the less I know. It's just so much to learn. I mean, about real estate too. There's so much to learn. Yet I'm committed for life to get better every week. And I see people doing these activities that do not move their life forward. So, I mean, I love movies, but it is a rare thing nowadays for me to watch a movie for 2 hours straight. So, if I watch a movie now, it's in 20-minute increments. Then
hmm
it's back to work,
Yeah.
back to doing the activities that are going to really move my life forward. So I think COVID, I mean, it's a problem before then, but it may have exacerbated since COVID, and just like stay home and binge watch. And that's how you use your evenings, and you call that bonding time, which I find questionable too. Like there are other ways that you could be bonding in addition to that, hopefully. And it's this matrix, you could say, of our culture of you work, you earn your pay, and then you just veg out in front of the TV or play video games. And I do not trust the creators of video games or these sports entertainment streaming services to really be out to empower us to have the greatest health and wealth. It's up to us to create that line and walk that path.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many ways. Just mindless scrolling on social media is probably right up there too, big time. I mean, like there's so many ways, and yeah, that's something I'm a hard grader sometimes on myself though too to counterbalance what you're saying a little bit. I would just say like so when I go really strict, like no, that's not the best use of my time. I know it's like it's a I start finding like I'm being too hard on myself. So, but like
So
you
how do you
said, this
find that balance of like when is it time to, because
yeah,
I have a pretty good sense of myself at this point when it's time
yeah,
to
yeah,
indulge versus not to, right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
only a Sith deals in absolutes, and I do believe in that quote.
Yeah. That's a good one. I like that. Oh wow, yeah, that's true. Yeah. No, I mean
So
I've
I
gotten
think
a
if
lot
you're having
better
the
with
French
that too.
fries, like you found a way to make that work for you, right?
Yeah, I mean, like this week is similar as far as the like video games. I play video games, but I play for like 10, 20 minutes. I mean, do I watch a movie? You know, this week I have sat down and watched the whole movie, but I also have another movie I'm watching. I'm doing exactly what you said. I don't go back to work necessarily, but I only watch so much of it late at night, and I'm like, okay, that's enough. Now I need to whatever the next thing is, but usually it's going to end up being meditation or this or that, or you know, do that yoga pose or whatever. Like other
Yeah,
things.
you're conscious of it. I mean, I just
Right.
really am so present how you're conscious of it and what your spirit is calling for. Most people just zombify themselves in front of the screen. Yet,
Mm.
if you were to be checking in, like, what am I aligned with? It could be 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes of something. But usually, there's something that kicks in of, okay, I've had this experience, and occasionally it'd be a whole movie, right? I'm a
Mhm.
film graduate. Okay, so I stand by this. I can certainly appreciate the need to watch a movie in its entirety. Yeah, I would still be conscious of myself. Like, is this what my spirit is calling for?
Yeah,
So, if you
yeah,
were to go on
exactly.
a
Mhm.
walk, for instance, where it's open ended, you'd be checking in. When is it time for me to turn back? Have that
Mhm.
consciousness with which you do everything.
Yeah, yeah, totally, totally. Yep, absolutely. I always say if I go on a bender or binge on something, I just come back to center as soon as I can, as soon as I'm willing to. But yeah, I am conscious about it. That is true. So I mean, because yeah, you're right. I mean that anesthetize the masses, right? Give them some football games. How many more football games can we You gotta watch this game. Oh my God. You better be there to see what happens. Like, yeah, someone's gonna win the game, someone's gonna lose. That's what's gonna happen.
I know it's not going to affect your finances one way or
Right,
another unless
right,
you gamble your finances away
right.
on it, which I don't recommend.
Unfortunately, yeah, a lot of people are starting to go down that route too. We'll gamify it for you. Just put your money into it. We'll make it even more interesting.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
another
there's
major
so
thing to
much. You're right. But yeah, I did want to touch on in this interview. I wanted to talk about that. You talk about being an abundant tribe leader, and you've begun to talk about it. But what does that really mean? Because I know you guys are helping support people to be abundant tribe leaders. So what is that exactly?
Well, we start with the end in mind, our mission to awaken and unify humanity.
Hmm.
How are we going to do this? If you approach it as you would a military campaign, we need to have generals out there who are leading the charge to awaken and unify humanity. What does that look like to empower these generals? It means to make them abundant tribe leaders. It's through using the healing power of entrepreneurship, which can really heal any divide on the planet. It's been, like religion and other things, corrupted by ego, lust for more. Yet, in its most pure conscious form, it is a powerful healing force. The example I use is the United States and Japan, where our relationship was in the 1940s compared to the 1980s. What was a healing power between our countries? It was business. It was the technology that the Japanese, to their enormous credit, right, talk about rising from the ashes. And we were able to have the relationship we have now with Japan through the power of business. So, through this context of creating entrepreneurs to be as successful as possible, whose focus is to unify, to awaken and unify humanity. Like, if you aren't aligned with that mission, then you're not our client. Like, there's no
Hmm.
reason to come to Red Pill Experience.
Hmm.
So, you're there to awaken, unify humanity. You need a certain angle to take. So our angle has been to work with entrepreneurs to launch their tribes. Like, that's our thing, our promise, right? Our focus. Someone who wants to launch a paid community, I would assert that you'd be hard pressed to find better mentors than us for this. When it comes to the clients who participate in Abundant Tribe Leader, we call them members. It's a year-long membership, and they will choose health or wealth because those are things that we stand by to use to awaken, unify humanity. So one of our tribe members, Jay Hunt, she is focused on biohacking for entrepreneurs. She launched her retreat in Colombia. Actually, it's happening right now, and gathered entrepreneurs from all over the world to come together in Colombia for 4 days to mastermind and to focus on these biohacking modalities. And it's wonderful because Jahan is getting to show up as the bigger leader to hold space for these other leaders. She has her own tribe, and they're going to continue to stay in each other's lives through some kind of ongoing paid community that we helped her design. There's also other things. We also refer to your events as a revenue octopus. We mentioned earlier the personal economy, that if you have the trust of others, then you can have multiple streams of income once you have that particular relationship. So she has other things in the biohacking realm that she's involved with business wise that if it makes sense, someone will work with her in these. And then she gets more of a passive income from these particular products. So we have others who are creating a women's entrepreneur investment club. That's her focus for her tribe. So to have a retreat where she brings this curated group together. We really stand by the retreat model for our abundant tribe leaders that especially nowadays when there's this fatigue. I know I certainly have it from going to hotel ballrooms. I'm like, I walk in, I'm like, yeah, this looks pretty much like all the other events I've been to. I've been in hotel ballrooms, give or take. And then the
Yeah.
leader there, I went to one in July where the leader was literally reading from a manual the whole time. I'm
Yeah.
like, why was this not on Zoom? You're not engaging with us. You're not creating bonds among us sitting out here. There's no reason why this should be in person.
Mm-hmm.
So those of us who have an appreciation for in-person connection and recognize that, yeah, big opportunity because a lot of events I love going to in person. I would say there's 3 companies whose events in person transformed my life. All took their events on Zoom. They're done with in person. And they got their reasons for that. I'm not judging. I'm just saying what a great market opportunity to step up
Mm-hmm.
and host these events in person.
Yeah.
The retreat format with the house, the exotic location, it brings out the best in people. You take your shoes off, you really connect deeply and authentically. The tribe is bonded, your tribe. Then they'll continue working with you. So we walk them through that model. Also, Monty's a genius at online branding. She has a really strong LinkedIn presence, so we customize that for people. It's just a non-negotiable at this time. I was posting today about this thing, how Will Smith told the story about how he got ran out of gas, and then he pulled into this gas station and then asked if he could borrow $20 from a stranger. And the stranger says, "You're Will Smith. I'd be happy to. Can I grab a photo?" Will says, "Absolutely, you can." And then he says, he gives him the $20, says, "Oh, don't pay me back. You're Will Smith." And Will Smith realized subsequently, like, it is a blessing to be famous. The universe has your back when you're famous. More resources can show up when you provide value publicly. And in this case, whether it's his performances in Pursuit of Happiness, like, I don't even bring up the slap thing. Like people over focus on that as a side note, right? Like it happened,
Mm-hmm.
yes.
Yeah.
And he's someone who's
Mm-hmm.
provided a lot of value publicly. And we get to do that through social media, hosting events, provide value publicly. And then the universe shows up so unexpectedly with resources, financial and otherwise.
Mm-hmm. Right, right. The slap heard around the world, right? Wow, yeah. That, I mean, anyway, I don't want to get into that, but yeah, slap heard around the world. I'll just say that. Yeah, I mean, what you guys provide is the opportunity to really come from the abundance, right? I mean, I'm looking at it from another, maybe the same lens, but different lens in terms of how I'm going to talk about it. But like, you're okay, you are abundance, So what, okay, so what is it that? How are you going to roll then? Seeing as you are abundance, how are you going to roll in being a leader to your mission or your tribe? And how do you want to expand in your wealth and your health? Like and it just really supporting that and helping them to say yes to the part of them that really wants to expand into what's possible, right? So that's what I hear.
It is a holistic context for abundance as well.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
yes, your health, your wealth, your relationships, everything improves through our container. Like we see to it that happens. It's bothered me with other business coaching programs I've been in where they're telling us to follow their systems and their how to's and like learn this new software. There's no regard for my mental health and how it's stressing me out. There's no regard for the fact that I don't see my mom because I'm so busy learning this new software. These things that happen as entrepreneurs that people don't really talk about. Instead, we glorify, like, yeah, that person made $100 million last year in their business. Somehow the fact that they were a shitty father, like, let's say, it's
Got cancer, got divorced, or whatever. Like they're in a
right.
hospital for 5 weeks, but no, we're going to ignore that.
We're just going to ignore all that, right? Because it's all about how much money they made. So
Right.
this is unconsciousness in the business realm for sure. Prime example. So us as conscious business leaders, it has to be a holistic approach. You become the healthiest version of yourself. You become the kindest, most compassionate spouse, son, daughter, mother, father than you've ever been, and your business is more successful. Is it hard to do? Depends on the person. I would say that, is there any pursuit that is more worthy than this? Absolutely not.
Do you want to meditate and make money? Let it be simple. Let it be easy. Let it be fun. Go to yoursacredpurpose.com and get your free meditate, make money meditation today.
Right, right. So we've talked a lot about the red pill experience, and we've talked about how it's different, in so many different ways. Anything else you want to add about how different it is? Is there anything else to help people understand, like, how this is something that you really can't find anywhere else?
I see my role as a PT Barnum. I was an event promoter from 2008 onwards, and as a music and arts event promoter, it was my responsibility to curate and showcase the best talents in San Diego, from circus to comedy to obviously live music and art. And I've brought that to RPXP, where I pop up the circus tent and let the stars shine. I bring this up because most speakers and coaches come at this from, whether as therapists or some kind of, like, I'm the expert, guru, top down model, like that seminar I told you about where they just read from the manual the whole time. We are pretty much the opposite of that. This is why the tribe is as strong as you mentioned, because I interview every single person before I invite them, and you have to blow me away. It's not like I'm this rigid Simon Cowell I judge, yet there has to be something within me that listens to you and says, wow, I'm inspired by what you're up to. There's a level of critical thinking that you're bringing that I can learn from. Only then do you get an invitation to RPXP. Most events, you see the sponsored ads. They try to cram as many people there. The leader doesn't know the person before they show up, and oftentimes by the end of the event still has no idea what their name is, right?
Yeah.
Much less what their business is, what they think about their family, their visions, right? I know all that in advance. People actually coming to RPXP. So because of my relatedness with each person there, we keep it intimate, 40 to 60 people, at least for the time being. And when we scale, we'll find ways to keep that intimacy, right? Maybe we'll just have different chapters. We'll cap it at 60 people. But right now it seems to work with 40 to 60 people. And as a result of my having that relationship is why everyone else is able to drop in so quickly. We get 4 days of that compounding, this level of critical thinkers who are truly open-hearted on a spiritual path, recognize that being a strong provider financially is part of the responsibility to planet Earth. It's a high frequency that we operate at, and that's what makes this event so special.
Yeah, the other thing I really appreciate is, they're usually, I'll fold that in as I talk about overall, but it's just that, it's the vetting you're doing as part of it, but it's also just the whole energetics, the way you've got it set up, the space that people are walking into that event. It's, it's not, we're being real. We're being, people say authentic or whatever. I don't know how else to put it, but like we're being real. It's not any airs being put on. In my opinion, everybody's got a stage persona to some degree, maybe, but here and there, but they're being real. They're being real people rather than, okay, all right, I'm putting an offer on the table. First 3 people that could grab, these offer sheets, get the deal, and then okay, it looks like all you losers missed out. Here's your second chance. No bonuses this time, though. I mean, like all the tricks that people use and everything. And then, yeah, I love what you said about speakers and that they have no big investment in what the hell you're even sharing or selling or talking about. I have sponsored an event or two where I spoke and offered things, and afterwards, this person had no idea what I talked about, had no idea ultimately what offer I made. Had no, maybe there other people did, right? But they didn't know. They had no clue. Like, nor did they really care that much, other than I brought people and they signed up for their big program, and so they were happy. So they're like, "Yeah, you're good. We'll have you back." Right? so, so I mean, yeah, I mean, it's a different thing where what you're doing is there's no. My experience was there was no what I would call hard selling, like at all. It's all heart selling, like come on in. Literally they had, Dr. Monse, taught people with the pendulum, like for me is a really basic thing, but like it was really good for people, and like test it, see if you're meant to come into any of these offers, anything's being offered. If when they honor, nobody's saying like, yeah, you're getting the pendulum wrong. I get it to swing the other way. Like, so I just want to double down on that. Like, there's all value, all
Check
love.
again. No, check again. No, seriously, check again.
Yeah, I think your posture's wrong, first of all. Like, yeah, I mean, there was none of that, and I so appreciate it. It makes me trust, you and the event and everything, like through the roof. Whereas if there's pushing and all this insanity, I'm just like, yeah, I won't be going back. Right? That's how I am anyway. I don't want to be around that energy. I just joined something recently. It was for free, but already they're like. They sent me a text. They're like, "Okay, well, here's your offer to get more and to speak with us, and if you don't want it, just say I quit!" In exclamation mark. I'm like, I said I quit. Quit emailing. Get out of my life. Like no more. 0%. So yeah,
I can imagine those discussions. Like, do we have them say I quit or I'm a loser?
right, exactly. Right.
I quit a little softer. We'll go with that one.
It's fun to make them feel worse, like.
Yeah.
Just type in "I suck." I didn't say more than that, but okay, I'm not going to do it on the show. Anyway, so yeah, it's incredible. So, but this is the kind of fun we have at the event. Where there's lots of laughter, lots of love. You guys just don't know what you're missing if you don't go. I will say that. I will say that's true. So anyway, so tell them how they can. I know you also have a gift for people. I believe is part of this show today to share with the listeners. So can you share about that and how they can jump into a Red Pill Experience event?
Yes, we do the event twice per year, in case I didn't mention. So March 25th through 28th, 2024 is our next one, and that's in San Diego. We've rented a mansion across 58 acres in Fallbrook, which is wine country, San Diego. And we still have a few spots left for that. All the on-site accommodations have been long sold out. We have a spillover venue, so we have room for about 10 more people for that one. Then our plan, we haven't confirmed it, our plan is to take RPXP 4 to Austin, and that's going to be September 9th through 12th. Our gut sense for some time is that we have many soul brothers and sisters in Austin, so we figure that we're going to bring the party to them, and a lot of transformation for the planet will result from this. My gift is our Abundant Tribe Leader Roadmap. If you're watching this, listening to this, and recognize that you are standing for humanity to have a breakthrough in the existing healthcare and wealth care or lack of systems, and you are a leader and pioneering a new path forward, and you're here to spread this across humanity, and you recognize that being a leader and hosting your own events and using public speaking and having a strong online brand are some of the components you might need, then the gift is the Abundant Tribe Leader Roadmap. So you can email us at rise@abundanttribeleader.com, rise, R-I-S-E, @abundanttribeleader.com, and we'll get that sent over to you. If you're interested in Red Pill Experience and joining us, just mention that in that same email. RPXP, mention Daniel, and then we'll follow up with you with those next steps.
Yeah, and I will say, I mean, not to scare anybody off at all, but you know, not everybody can get in. You have, I mean, there is some criteria to be able to even get into the event. I mean, it's not like just, oh, I just want to kind of come and, you know, like, you know, there is a bit of a qualification process. It's not, you know, it's not like otherworldly or anything. It's not like you need to be a Navy SEAL level, but there is a vetting process to make sure you're a sincere person, sincerely committed to the highest at the event, all those type of things. So the good news about
criteria, actually, I'll just try to make it as simple as I can.
Okay, sure.
Top right. There's a conscious business triangle. So I used to lead an event called Conscious Business Summit back in 2013, and I taught conscious business triangle. So imagining a triangle, it's got 3 sides to it. So as an entrepreneur, your conscious business must make lots of money. It must further your personal development, become the most heart-centered, authentic version of you. If you're not becoming a more compassionate father, son, whatever role you have in people's lives, then you're not honoring the side of a triangle. It's not a triangle, right? And then the bottom part is the social impact. That's the third side. How is the world becoming a better place through every transaction your business conducts? Typical business would be just focusing on as much money as possible, and it's the impact on people's stress levels, their mental health, and Mother Earth. So much focus just on profit. So if you resonate with that and you see your business as fitting the conscious business triangle, there's a very good chance that you'll fit in beautifully at RPXP.
Perfect. Good. We've got that cleared up. I just want to let people know, like, there's amazing people there because that's what they're attracting. And part of it is there is a little bit of vetting for sure. So as far as that goes, what Jon just said. Jon, this is amazing. We've gotten to the part of the show where I'd like to give you a couple of, you know, divine downloads, some tuning in into Jon and what I'm seeing. Are you ready?
Yes. Can't wait.
All right, let's say now, guys, there might be something in here for you too. Now, a lot of people that listen into my downloads for someone else are like, oh, I needed to hear that too. So you never know. So let's tune in right here, right now. Let's see what comes through. Yeah, I mean, some of these things I'm sure you've heard before about. The first thing I get is that magician energy. Now, there's another cool movie, right? Around this sort of thing that I'm sure you've seen, but I always forget the name of it. But it's that dude in the Marvel movies, Doctor Strange is what it is. Okay, Doctor Strange, like that, you have got some of that in you, right? You got that sense of get it, you know, crush this thing, like getting at the top of the game, and then you know, life softens you up, right? You're like, okay, more in the heart, more even deeper spiritual connection, everything. But you have a lot of you've always had like this magical ability to take situations that are going on and bring elements together to make alchemy and just make everything come together. So you're a synthesizer of energy, and I just wanted to point that out. But there's even more than that in there, and I'll just mention that, and you probably know a little bit about it, but I just wanted to point like there's real magic in Jon. So let's see what else is coming through. You know, this came to me before. I mean, there is a little bit of Sith in you, but you're conscious. You know, you got some of the absoluteness a little bit, but then your overall, your spirit and your heart starts to kind of override a lot of it anyway. And it's like, okay, wait a minute, it's a little bit too absolute. So I appreciate you've got that in you, because I like both elements. I don't like wishy-washy people that don't have any of that steel and strength. So I really appreciate that about you. Okay. Let me see what else comes through. I was seeing spokes in like a wheel, and then I was hearing 9, and so I know you want to expand what you guys are doing. So there's something about the number 9, like 9. Maybe there's like not. I don't think it's like it might be like centers, but it's something like that where this is happening in maybe 9 places or something. There's something with the number 9, and that you're helping to, with the coordination of it all or something with your movement. Let me see if I can get a little bit more for a second. Hold on. Yeah, I just see it just feels like you're going, right now it's been, I think, all US based so far. And I just feel like definitely you guys are going around the world to these different locations, and you might make some, kind of not full homes, but like, or like, boom, we'll put our flag down here. Like, that's what it feels like. Kind of like you put that flag down there for red pill in these different areas. So this may or may not be on your guys' radar yet, but like, I don't know. It's what's coming through, and there's usually something to it. So those are the downloads I have for you, John. What quick reflections do you have on any of that?
Well, the last thing you shared, that definitely lines up with a bigger vision that Monty and I have. We are about bringing people together, and the events have obviously an ephemeral quality to it compared to a real brick and mortar. And being able to have this hub that people walking by, driving by, they see it. It's a symbol of something. This unity consciousness of this salute to alternative health and wealth and critical thinking. And to have a physical location like that, I mean, first off, I love every biohacking modality. If I can lay on it, put it on my head, swallow it, apply it on my skin, like I'm all about it. I'll do anything. So having a center like that while at the same time integrating it with the wealth side, we're dealing in this world with live ammo, right? Like if they can shut down your business and like bankrupt you, I mean, imagine like what their next plan is. So to me, like just focusing on health is not enough, at least for our calling and our capacity. We have to really serve people at both levels of health and wealth. And I haven't seen that really exist yet, having a place where you get to have both. And at the very least, these are the conversations that happen while there. What the physical center looks like, who knows? Maybe it's just a biohacking lounge, but then it's a certain type of person that the membership is an entrepreneur, and that's whom we vet to have in there. A real thing, by the way, about supposedly vetted communities that are not really. It was just like anyone who has a credit card, basically, that they'll take in.
Yeah, you got a credit card, you're in.
Yeah. And then they justify, well, it's a business, right? I'm like, well, not a business. I'm going to be part for very long if I'm going there for the community. So you kind of outdid yourself on that one, right?
Yeah.
So having longevity with our members who really feel this is something different and unique, and it is a graduation from the events. We're very proud of having these immersive experiences where for 4 days, like you're on island RPXP, yet ongoingly to reach a larger population. I could definitely see this.
Awesome. Yeah, I already got it. I got the dates. I hadn't heard the dates for the fall. They're already in my calendar. I just put them in as you were giving them to me. So
everyone loves you so much too. So they'll be happy to see you. You'll see some familiar faces, some new faces, of course. Yes.
Awesome. Awesome. So I'm looking forward to that. And maybe I'll see some of you that are listening at one of the next events coming up. So I look forward to that as well. All right, great. Well, guys, if you want to check me out, go to yoursacredpurpose.com. There's a free meditate, make money meditation when you go there to get your downloads, get connected, and get more clarity about whatever wants to happen. That's the thing. We're gonna get connected up to the vibe of what wants to come through your soul, and let that guide your business and your life and everything. So you can get your free meditate, make money meditation right at yoursacredpurpose.com. There's also a Rock Your Sacred Purpose energy scan consultation you can take advantage of. It's only for certain people that are really ready to rock, or take a deeper look into your energy, into your soul, and see you, and then help you, strategically too in your business to see what the next steps are, because it all combines. Like I see this in your energy, this once, like I was doing even with John, like I see 9, and okay, what's next on that with the, like we just, it's fun. It's like we're creating a energy map and a strategic map. So check that out at yoursacredpurpose.com. All right, so Jon, it's been again, it's so awesome to have you on. Any last words for the audience today?
Well, first, I thank you, Dan, so much for holding this space and giving me the opportunity to share and connect with your audience. And if you're watching this, what does your intuition say? So if you had a pendulum right now, you could use the pendulum or just have some way of checking in. Are you getting the nudge to explore red pill experience? So reach out.
Awesome. Absolutely. We got all the links in the show notes, and yeah, just you absolutely want to get into it. And you know what the truth is. So just take action immediately on whatever your truth is. And you're going to be so grateful if you jump in and you're feeling that connection. All right. Wonderful. Well, like I always say to everybody, keep on tuning in, and we'll keep on rocking it here at Spiritual Rockstar Podcast. Till next time, everyone. For listening to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast. Stay tuned for our next upcoming new episodes each Saturday. Please be sure to subscribe, rate, and review to help us to serve you best. As a reminder, you can get your free Meditate and Make Money meditation at www.yoursacredpurpose.com to rock your sacred purpose. Goodbye for now, everybody.